Hello, Shatling. Have you ever heard of a men-only gym? What do you think is the reasoning behind a men-only gym? I'll allow you to guess, okay? I'll allow you to guess. Take your guess, okay? Take your guess. Did you say it's because some men are uncontrollably horny and see women as sexual objects? You did? Oh my, you're right. I'm so proud of you. So the other day I heard about this potentially recent phenomenon of men's only gyms. And from what I've seen in the article that I'm reading, they are predominantly created by a Christian community for the purpose of protecting men from desire, from lust. And it's about as bad as you would expect. I would like to go through this article with you and just really unpack the worst things that were stated by the people, the men running these gyms. So why don't we lay down some background information so that you're thoroughly educated before we dive into the weeds of it. Why are we men's only? Who are we? Asks a specific owner of one of the gyms. In a nutshell, one of the number one places affairs and infidelity occur, cheating, is the gym. Byproduct is someone who had an affair in my previous marriage. Doesn't work out well for you fellows. So basically, what he seems to be stating is that a main driver for the creation of this men-only gym is to prevent cheating. Now, I immediately have some questions. Do you not see women in any other areas of your life? When you go to work, are there women there? If you go to the beach, are there women there? When you go outside, when you go to the grocery store, what are you gonna do if you see women there? Well, what's going on here? How come the gym is something that you really need to crack down on? Is it because of the more revealing clothing, like sports bras? In which case, I would ask, how come you can go to the beach then? Wouldn't you be tempted by women wearing bathing suits? Because those are even more revealing than regular workout clothing. So wouldn't we also have a major problem with beaches? See, I'm already getting way too nitty-gritty with it, but I truly think that the solution to not cheating doesn't involve shutting yourself off from all women. Just absolutely reaffirming the idea that the only type of relationship you can have with a woman is romantic or sexual. Reaffirming this idea that women are just sexual objects. And by wearing regular workout clothing, a sports bra, workout shorts, they are putting themselves on display, and they are an object of lust that is there to tempt these men. Which, by the way, I'm pulling those terms from the lexicon tossed around by these people, the exact people that made the gym. Why don't we continue reading? I'm getting way too deep into the weeds. According to Mitch Parsons, founder of Youth Group for Men and Remnant Men in Denver, so a guy that has an opinion on this, I believe. Oh, wait, no, I think he built one. He said, I quit 4 gyms before I built one. Okay, this is another individual that made a men's only gym. According to Parsons, men are breaking under all the pressure. Yeah, because it's so tough to go to the gym as a man when there are women there wearing sports bras and they have boobies. Their boobies are out and they're in their booties, their asses, ass and titty, all over. We're surrounded on all fronts. It's an impossible fight. I know because I've lived it, he admits. ED, unemployment, debt, health failure, recovery, the full spectrum of a man's struggle, and the faith that carried me through. Those are all very real problems, but I don't see what that has to do with women. So, next up, we have an absolute heater that had me giggling when I first read it. Oh my gosh, you're in for a treat. Parsons continues. I was tired of having nakedness shoved in my face every time I walked into a gym to train. There's a lot to unpack here. So, the article logically starts saying, this makes no sense. In the area that his gym is located, there are laws prohibiting nakedness. In such an establishment, you must cover up your genitalia. You cannot be walking around shirtless in these gyms. So it starts to debunk that. But I think the article is being a little bit silly with it. I think what he was clearly trying to insinuate is that regular workout clothing, a sports bra, shorts, leggings, Those are basically nakedness or are comparable to nakedness just because they're more revealing than this guy would like. Now, as somebody that goes to the gym and wears a sports bra and shorts, I would like to weigh in on this. I do not wear specific workout clothing to show off or to sexualize myself or to do anything even adjacent to that. The reason I wear what I wear to work out is because two main reasons. One, I run super hot, and if I wear anything more, I get incredibly hot during my workout, and I can't even do it. Like, I'm sweating, I'm miserable, it sucks. Two, and this is kind of related to the hot reason, overstimulation, sensory issues. I cannot work out in large clothing. I can't go on a run wearing a t-shirt. It is the worst feeling in the world. I can't do intense, like, grueling workouts wearing sweatpants. It gets so hot and so uncomfortable, I genuinely perform worse. So I am the most comfortable when I'm just wearing a basic sports bra and shorts. Does that mean that I'm looking for attention? No. Does that mean that I'm shoving nakedness down the throats of all of those around me? Also no. It's a bit preposterous to compare a regular wardrobe habit, hey, I'm working out, I'm getting sweaty and hot, I would like to wear clothing that makes me feel comfortable. It's crazy to compare that to nakedness. Let's continue. I had to choose between honoring the Lord, honoring my wife, and guarding my eyes or training my body. So I quit 4 gyms. I wish I could step into the mind of these people because I truly can't comprehend how women existing is that much of a problem to his faithfulness to his wife. Nobody is forcing you to stare at anyone. Nobody's forcing that. And if it's so difficult, then maybe it would be valuable to go to therapy, work on self-discipline, work on not seeing women as sexual objects, work on controlling yourself. Therapy can help with these things, but what's not gonna help is completely shutting women out. Shutting out any chance to train your ability to see women as people and not just be uncontrollably sexual about it. You should be practicing seeing women as people and not staring at them inappropriately. And I would think that by creating men's only gyms and just trying to completely distance yourself from whatever worries you, you're just going to weaken yourself. You're just going to weaken your ability. And you're reinforcing the idea of women are so sexy and attractive, I can't even look at them. I can't even be near them. Wait, she's wearing a sports bra? And her cleavage is out? No. Don't let me see it. Don't let me see it. I'm gonna bust instantly. I can't. Get it away from me. Like, that's not gonna help you in the long run. That's just gonna weaken you. I really think that therapy would be infinitely more beneficial to these men than just completely shutting women out. And another thing that's really crazy? There are women-only gyms. And you know why they make women-only gyms? To protect women from men. And now they're making men-only gyms. And the purpose of those is to protect men from themselves. Either way, the men are the problem. Now, let me specify, this is not all men, okay? This is a select few. I want to clarify that. I do not hate men. So here they're talking about how the laws in that area prohibit actually being naked. When he said nakedness, whatever that means. And the article explains how gym policies across Denver, which is where the gym is located, require their members to wear shirts at all times. And the public indecency laws prohibit exposing one's genitals. Again, I think this is just the article being silly. You and I both know he was probably talking about sports bras. Oh no. Or shorts. Gulp. What was he seeing here that can't be seen on any public place in America, from beaches to parks to baseball games? Very good point, and exactly what I said in the beginning of this video. What's gonna happen when he gets to a beach? Oh my gosh, and he's been quarantining himself from women all this time, and suddenly he's surrounded by women wearing bathing suits? Oh my gosh. I genuinely think it would just weaken his ability to see women as people, and then he would be worse off in a regular environment like a beach. Still, despite women being required to wear clothes at the gym, Parsons suggests Christian men are at war daily. There is no base camp. This is a battlefield. You know, like going to the gym where women are there? It's worse than war. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. Being surrounded by boobies. You'll never understand the pain. Once again, he mentions no distractions. There's no temptations of women walking around fellas. I think that's just a really weak point because, once again, if you want to make yourself stronger, you're not going to do that by completely cutting off all women. That is just going to reinforce your weakness, and it's going to make you more susceptible to being uncontrollably horny next time you see a woman wearing something that turns you on. This is just going to weaken you and make it worse. I really think that therapy could be a wonderful option here, and we could work on not seeing women as sexual objects, as walking temptations, as he put it. Breaking news, we're all human beings. Another thing that the article mentioned that I really liked is he talks about honoring things, honoring God, honoring his wife, honoring, was it like the gym or something? But he doesn't mention honoring the women at the gym. Nothing is mentioned about that, other than them being temptations and distractions. And it says, in addition to his false dichotomy, it's notable he doesn't mention honoring the women at the gym. In his mindset, God and his wife deserve to be honored, but women working the kettlebells don't seem to cross his mind as worthy of honor. Which is extremely true. I feel like there is a large gap here, where there should be recognition that the women are just trying to go about their day, not trying to be temptations. But I don't really think he sees it that way. I think he literally just sees them as sexual objects. Or at the very least, distractions. And I have nothing against religion. Religion can be a beautiful thing, but this is a very poor execution of it. Because they associate women with distractions and temptations and don't associate them with honor, they each came up with a similar plan. Create a gym that excludes women. Period. He suggests real sharpening requires daily proximity to other faithful men who refuse to let you drift. Having strong friendships is important. Having healthy bonds with people that share values to you, that push you to be a better person, that's lovely. But you don't need to cut off women to do that. Like, brother, take your boys to the gym with you. You don't need to make a men's-only gym to do that. See, this is the big distinction between men's-only gyms and women's-only gyms. Just in case any drooling homunculus would try and say, oh, but you have a problem with the men's-only gym? Then how come you don't have a problem with the women's-only gym? It's because the women's-only gym was created to protect women from men. To avoid sexual assaults, to avoid sexual harassment, to avoid the exact mentality that is being outlined here, where women are sexualized just for existing in workout clothing. Whereas the men's-only gym exists because of that exact mindset. And instead of targeting that mindset with therapy or something actually useful, they are reinforcing it by just succumbing to the horniness and the worry and the temptations, saying, nope, I'm too weak, I can't handle it, let's cut off all women. Where men step back into brotherhood, he says, where friction is welcomed, accountability is normal, and growth is expected. See, like, that's wholesome, that's lovely. Once again, you don't need to cut off women to do that. You can have male friends, you can have a group that goes to the gym together. That doesn't mean you have to cut off women completely. Oh, I haven't even read this section, but it looks like there's some anti-LGBTQ sentiment floating around, which, doesn't that surprise you, man? It's always the ones you least expect. Parsons' embrace of conspiracy theories is evident on his website, where he claims, "We live in a city that is putting litter boxes in high schools." Of course, this isn't true. The article claims this is what Hambrecht and Parsons are doing with their male-only gyms. They're spreading conspiracies about morality and traditional marriage that cast women as dangerous. Now, you can do with that assertion what you will. I do believe that making a men's-only gym for the purpose of protecting men from distractions really does just reinforce those traditional gender roles where women are objects. They're just temptations. And the brotherhood has to stick together and push the women away because they bring evil and they bring temptation. When we're all human. We are all human. And completely cutting off a demographic because you see them as nothing more than a temptation suggests that there are some underlying psychological issues that should be addressed rather than completely validated by cutting women off. To join Parsons' Christian manosphere, it's a bit more intense. Gym members must sign a covenant called Rule of Life that requires such beliefs as marriage as one man and one woman, or two genders given by God at creation. And it requires strict adherence to the behavioral and moral standards of the Remnant Gym membership agreement. Again, everybody is entitled to their own religious views, opinions, whatever, but first of all, homophobia? Wait, really? Wait, he's homophobic? And second of all, once again, what does this have to do with getting over temptation and not cheating on your spouse? Once again, like at the very core, the goal of not cheating on your spouse and not pursuing women sexually that don't want it is good. That's good. We should be leaving women alone, and we should see them as people, or at the very least not go up to them and be weird, right? That's good. But the way that they're executing it is just so bad. They literally could have done anything else. This is the worst way they could have possibly tried to combat that sentiment that women are just temptations. Although it doesn't seem like they want to combat that sentiment. It seems like they want to validate it, believe that women are just distractions, and then just further divide. Say women are the other, they're the distraction, they're an object of lust, and we need to separate ourselves from them. So I think that's just a really icky and unhealthy mindset. I think women deal with enough sexual assault, sexual harassment. Hell, I've experienced it, and I'm built like a 15-year-old boy. And while I think that not wanting to cheat on your spouse is good, it's respectable, it's cool, and I also have no problem with religion, I think that the way in which they are trying to achieve these goals is terrible. And I think that the gender roles that they're trying to enforce and the idea about women being temptations is also terrible. So yeah, I had a lot of fun talking about this. I love yapping about feminism. So let me know. Let me know if you have any other topics that I could talk about. Okay, twin? Okay. Thank you for watching. Be kind to yourself and take care of yourself and follow my Twitch. Okay? Okay. Bye, twin. Mwah.